Hey everybody, welcome back to the Clean Cuisine. If you're just tuning in, this is all about simple, healthy meals that are fast and on the table. Today we're actually going to be using a crock pot, so this is one of those you can either leave for work, throw it in there, it'll be ready when you get home, or what I'm doing is tonight I'm going to take my pork shoulder, put it in, and it's going to be ready in the morning for us for lunches and for the rest of the day. So I have here 6 pounds of pork shoulder bone in and a huge fat cap on top. I know this looks like a lot of meat, but once you remove the fat when it's finished cooking and the bone, it's actually not that much. So this will be enough for our family of 4 with a good amount of leftovers. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the entire pork shoulder into the crock pot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our seasoning. And today we're going to be using cumin, salt, oregano, from fresh cracked black pepper, and in place of garlic powder, I happen to have some roasted garlic that I think will add a really nice sort of depth of flavor here. So I'm going to add that in, and I'm just going to roughly chop about 6 pieces of garlic. We love garlic in our house, so if that's just a little too much for you, you can dial back a little bit. Like I said, if you're using the dried garlic powder, probably be about 2 teaspoons, give or take. So I'm just chopping these up here, and it's a rough chop, but I'm just going to throw them in. That's going to give it a really super nice flavor. And then I am going to add our fresh ground pepper, probably about 2 teaspoons worth. Go back and add a little bit more. And for salt, I'm going to add about 2.5 to 3 teaspoons, so close to a tablespoon of some sea salt. Cumin, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons. And then oregano, I'm going to add a tablespoon. And when you're using dry herbs like oregano, it's good that you kind of crush it. As you put it in, it kind of brings those dried herbs back to life. So just in the palm of your hand, just going to rub it together, and you can smell it when you do that too. It really smells good. Alright, so now to this, we're not going to add a lot of liquid, really. What I'm going to do is, if you have any citrus on hand, I happen to have a really juicy lemon and a nice ripe orange here. So I'm going to use these two, the juice of my lemon and orange, and just kind of squeeze it all over. This thing comes in handy. Get all the juice out of that. Do one more. And this is an awesome meal that will not take a lot of prep time, but will be worth it. The meat is so unbelievably tender, so juicy. And our last step, which you really should not skip, is the searing of the meat when it's all done. That'll really give you that sort of carnitas flavor and vibe, the texture of the meat with the crispness on the outside. Super moist and juicy. And that can be done really easily in a skillet pan, and you can do it as you serve it. So you can leave it as is, and then when you go to serve, you could just heat up a skillet real quick and pan sear it. And I'll show you how we do that when it's all done. And that fat cap, a lot of people are intimidated by that, but that will pretty much come off in one piece after this is finished cooking, along with the bone. It'll just literally fall apart. Wait till you see. Alright, one more piece of orange here, and that's all the liquid this thing needs. It's going to create so much liquid just from the fat and the moisture from the meat. And I will just kind of give that a quick rub down with my hand, make sure I'm incorporating all the different seasonings, get underneath, and then I'm just going to set that on low. And like I said, I'm going to let it sit all night, so for at least 8 hours on low. If you were to do it on high, probably closer to 4 to 5 hours. So you just set it and forget it. And when I wake up tomorrow morning, we will come back and I'll show you what we're looking like. All right, it is morning time. I just took off the lid. It's actually been a little bit longer than 8 hours, probably more like 9, but I just want to show you guys what you're looking for here. You can see that fat layer, the fat cap. I mean, this whole thing is like butter, but it'll all come off together. So that whole thing will pull off, and then look over here where the bone is. You can literally just pull it out. I mean, the meat is that soft. I believe there's another bone or two in there, but I mean, it's just easily pulling apart. You can see all the liquid around it. Hopefully you can see all the liquid around it. And I mean, this is exactly what you're looking for here. So easily pulled apart. So I normally start by removing the fat cap and removing any bones, and from there the rest is easy. And then I'll show you what we're going to do for our pan sear to really bring these up to the next level. But if you taste this right now, it is so tender, so delicious, and this will feed your family for a good meal and plenty of leftovers. All right, everybody, so now we are on the process of browning our carnitas. And just a little test, if you're never quite sure your pan is hot enough, I usually just get my fingers wet just a little bit under running water, and I will kind of flick the pan. Hopefully you can hear that. It just kind of gives you that sizzle. That's about the temperature you want your pan. So I've got mine on a medium-high heat, and I'm not going to put any oil or anything. I'm going to let the juices of the meat do its thing. So what I did is I went ahead and kind of shredded my pork, which was not difficult at all. This shredded all by itself. And I got rid of the fat cap and all the bones. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this down. I'm not going to smother the pan because you really want to give it an opportunity to brown. So I'm just going to grab some of my meat. You can hear it start to sizzle. And I'm just going to put one layer down on the pan. And this is what sets the meat apart. It goes from really yummy, tender meat to just like over the top, sensational carnitas. And if you think your pan is just getting a little too hot or you feel like it needs a little liquid, go ahead and take just a little bit of the liquid. You can see the liquid in the bottom there, and just pour it over your meat. That'll also just kind of add some of that flavor back in too. Not too much, because then it's not going to brown so well, but just enough to pick up some of those juices. So I'm just going to let it sit for like a minute or two, and then we'll take a look at the other side. We'll flip it, and I'll show you kind of that brown crust that we're going for. Alright, so it's been about 2 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and flip it. And you can see, ooh, yes. It's got kind of that brown crust to it, while the meat is still super tender, but now it's just going to have this delicious, crunchy sort of texture on the outside. It just gives it this whole new flavor. So I'm going to flip these and let the other side brown. You can do this under your broil pan in the oven too, or under the broiler, excuse me, and that'll probably yield you more, you know, a faster, excuse me, a larger quantity at a faster time. But I really like the saute pan because I can really control the browning, and I don't know, it just gives it, to me, adds a little bit more flavor than just being under the broiler. So just look, that's what you're going for. So I'm going to leave, ooh, you got a little steam there. Alright, I'm going to leave this in the pan for like another 2 minutes. And then all you do is scoop this out, put it in a bowl with some avocado, some lime, some cilantro, maybe a little bit of salsa. You've got yourself a meal. Some fresh veggies. Delicious. Hope that helps, guys. Tune in for some more simple, fast, easy, but healthy meals that your whole family will enjoy. I know not a lot of us have a ton of time between kids and work and all the other stuff that we have to do as men and women nowadays, but I'm here to make it easy for you. Thanks for tuning in to The Clean Cuisine. Give it a thumbs up if you like. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this.